Sup YouTube, welcome back to another video showcasing your battles. Today's battles are brought to us courtesy of Cayenne Dragonlord, aka Cobb Khan, and they feature the Galarian Zapdos, aka the almost unobtainable bird. If you want your battles featured on the channel, submission links down below. But without further delay, let's get into these battles. Yes, this team is ABA weak to charm, but we make do because we are in the year of our Lord BE, aka before Elo, aka the boonies, aka where Galarian Zapdos shines. Our opponent clearly doesn't know that they're in a poor matchup. We swap into Galarian Zapdos and I assume he's gonna commit to the straight farm down. Most of these Pokemon are below level 40, they're not excelled. So if this is you, then you know, you can find some success in the Master League. Very little, but some. They are gonna shield this move, I believe. Okay, they don't farm all the way down. But they do have the back-to-back close combats loaded, so they can nuke whatever comes in, except if it gets sniped by a charm. That's hilarious. Okay, the opponent concedes. Again, be kind in the comment section. This is the early 2000s in terms of ELO, so most people don't know exactly how to play out their matchups. And if you're anything like Cayenne, then you play this game just to have fun, and that's exactly what this video is about. It's just fun battles featuring the double nuke bird, the avian ostrich, which I guess ostriches are avian, right? But I wanted to showcase these battles because I don't have a Galarian Zapdos and I want to see how it performs. I'd assume that at level 50, if you can get those XLs for this bird, if you're brave enough to walk that bird as your buddy forever, then it does have some play because again, this thing hard counters Dialga and other steel types because of that unique fighting flying typing. In comes the man of the hour. Now he does swap out, which I guess isn't a horrible play since you do have another steel type in the back. Can you commit to the straight farm? Oh, maybe now you can. Is he gonna? Yeah, he's gonna commit to the straight farm down. Okay, the opponent doesn't let him. He swaps out into Groudon. I'm assuming he's gonna get a shield at some point. He does. He could throw on better timing because they're rocking Dragon Tail. I mean, not that you would have made it to another move, but you would have at least gotten one more counter worth of damage. And now this is kind of... As long as you can correctly shield up the Precipice Blades, you should be good. You do shield up the Precipice Blades, and you can get to this move. Again, throwing on a little bit better timing would make the game a little bit easier, or this battle, rather. You do Hard Swap, which is... It is dicey. Because if they had gotten to another Precipice Blades, you would have gotten nuked out of existence. But all you need is a Meteor Mash here to take out the Dialga, and as GG's. The biggest problem with Galarian Zapdos is that the strongest core right now in the Master League is Zacian Dialga, and also Lugia is like top Mon in the Master League. So even though it has double nukes, it doesn't fare well against Zacian and Lugia specifically. It crushes Dialga, but if you can't line it up with Dialga, then it is kind of scuffed. Again, early Elo, people don't realize that this is a poor matchup. They should be switching out. Cayenne shouldn't be baiting. It's a really dominant matchup. I think you lose if you bait. And in comes Palkia to get decimated. Or not. He swaps out. Ha! What is the opponent doing? This is one of those showcases where you kind of, you swap because your opponent swaps even though you don't need to swap. Again, Cayenne, you didn't need to swap. You could have let the bird go down and came in with Zapdos. Because it's rocking Dragon Tail, I'm assuming you would have outpaced it. You live in Aqua Tail, so you didn't really need to swap out. You could have let your Pokemon go down, and you would have gotten some, maybe one Dragon Claw damage off on the Palkia, which would have been great. Here, okay, yeah, you're gonna shield these moves. I mean, you really only have one Pokemon left. Luckily for me, Cayenne doesn't subscribe to the Ruffian University, where we don't shield our moves because we're complete noobs. He goes for the Brave Bird, and look at this bird go! And look at that dragon leave. That's crazy. If you're enjoying the video so far, definitely leave a like, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Alright, a horrible lead. He swaps into the Galarian Bird. This can only be a Dark Pulse, and this bird resists all Dark type damage. Oof. You overfarmed way too much. If this is an outrage, you get nuked out of existence. And it is goodbye, Zapdos. Hello, Giratina. Well, I mean, you should have shielded because you did have the back-to-back. You basically died with 100 energy. It would have been worth a shield because you would have gotten a shield back. Those mud shots do nothing. And you could have gotten maybe even 2 more close combats off. But, you know, it is what it is. Again, I don't shield, so maybe Cayenne does subscribe to the Ruffian School. Oh, man. Oh, no. Had you shielded, I think you would have had a really, really fair shot of winning that game. Another perfect lead. This time the opponent does swap out. He swaps into Galarian Zapdos. He doesn't fall for the CMP because you would lose, which is kind of sad. I believe at the level 50, Galarian Zapdos CP is 4,000, not 5,000. Jesus. He is at 100 energy, so, you know, he doesn't throw another move. You could throw... actually, right there, maybe you wouldn't have survived the surf or the waterfall damage. You wouldn't have. So it was okay to throw the move right on the spot instead of, you know, doing the 1 turn or 1 counter rather. In comes, what was that? A Garchomp? Yeah. In comes Garchomp. They're going to tank all this damage. They are rocking Dragon Tail though, which is kind of dicey. You do CMP. Yeah, I think this is worth a shield, even though it might be... Okay, no, they full send the nuke. Oh, you didn't CMP. Okay. In that event, right, when you're rocking a 2-turn move to their 3-turn move, throw 1 counter and then throw the move. That way they don't sneak any additional damage in. There are so many good videos on move timing, and usually that's what separates the ace players from the veteran players. All it takes is for you to know your correct timing, and you'll skyrocket in terms of ELO. And we do lose that match, even though I think it was pretty winnable. In all honesty, I don't know why you brought the Metagross onto the Kyogre, honestly. You should have just brought in Giratina. We're on a decent matchup as long as they don't have Shadow Ball, and even if they do, these Shadow Sneaks are gonna chunk as well as the Shadow Claws. You do correctly shield up the Shadow Ball. You can survive 1. Okay, I guess we're gonna shield again. You do correctly shield up a Shadow Ball, which is fine. You're going to get both shields or 1 shield back from them and possibly win unless they catch. I guess not. Never mind. Right there, he throws on perfect timing. I believe they're rocking Dragon Tail. So he throws 1 and then the move. Yep, perfect. There, you could have thrown on better timing. I believe that was alignment. You're going to get the shield back, which is fine. And he is staying in. Galarian Zapdos doesn't do that well against Dragonite. But Metagross does, even if they have superpower, which they most likely do. It's the most common moveset on Dragonite. I like the Dragon Tail, although I think I prefer Dragon Breath. Just because, I don't know why the opponent stayed in. They should have swapped out. You had the Earthquake loaded. But I guess this is a Galarian Zapdos feature. So we're not going to rest until we close combat this pedophile. We send off the nuke and sayonara, Konayara. Alright, next up. We got Giratina into Lugia. This is a pretty tricky lead. Again, Zapdos doesn't do well against this unless it's the regular Zapdos. And even then, it's still a pretty glassy bird. But Giratina doesn't fare too poorly in this matchup because those Shadow Sneaks plus Shadow Claws do chunketh. And if you throw on correct timing, which I think he did there, then it's a much better matchup for you. I think you still lose either way. Maybe you get a shield here if the opponent isn't counting. They are counting though. Oh, nice sack. This is pretty good. The opponent stays in, which they shouldn't have because I don't think they would have reached another move. Maybe they didn't want to swap them, lock themselves into the swap. They do bring in a Zekrom. They correctly shield up the Earthquake. You don't outpace, so you're probably better off letting this thing go. Okay, no. You might have to invest both shields though, if they're at the back-to-back, which they are. Also, I think you were at the Earthquake, so you didn't have to invest a shield. You should have just thrown that immediately. The opponent might just shield and farm down. Never mind. They just sacrifice their Zekrom to the gods. In comes Confusion Mewtwo. What in the world? So for a 4-turn move, you want to throw 1 counter and then the move so that they can't sneak any moves in. I don't know what the opponent was doing there. They had a ton of energy. They should have gone for double side strikes. Maybe they wouldn't have survived anyway against the Giratina, or what was left of it. This is a pretty garbage matchup, unless you bluff the Ancient Power. then you have a more solid matchup here. What you would need to do is build up to the Shadow Sneak, which I believe is about the same energy as an Ancient Power. And most likely you could get a shield because Gyarados is pretty frail. Is this opponent farming you all the way down? What the hell? Okay, they do send an Aqua Tail, which is enough to KO you from that range. I believe this Gyarados is powered up higher than level 40. And maybe so is this Metagross. Maybe a couple of levels, but it still looks, it looks about level 40 range. This Meteor Mash should KO from this range. The opponent invests a shield. You swap into Galarian Zapdos. They can't hit you with a Crunch. And Aqua Tail is a pretty weak move. Oh my god, they hit you with a Crunch! What is you doing, my guy? Okay, they have a big, thick Snorlax in the back. Is that shiny? Nice flex. That's awesome. They do reach the Body Slam, which you could shield. Okay, he's gonna let it go. Oh my god, what is wrong with these people? That is a flying, fighting, typing, sir. Respect the bird. Don't disrespect this this beautiful, beautiful ostrich. You are going to shield here, and I believe the Gyarados is just barely alive. Yeah, you get off the Meteor Mash. You probably could have farmed it down, but no respect for the Galarian bird, man. I can't believe it. Not one, but two disrespectful moves. Maybe the opponent knew it was over, or just maybe they were single moved. I don't know. I missed if they threw a Crunch on the Giratina earlier. All right, this is with Shadow Claw. It's a much more favorable matchup for Giratina, especially the altered version, since it's quite thick. It is best buddied. I believe the Galarian Zapdos is the one that's best buddied in these battles, though. I still think you lose this matchup. Maybe. But you are slowly chunking away at this tin can, so let's see how this goes. I believe, yeah, you're just going to keep on getting more Shadow Sneaks. You do throw before them because you lose CMP, which is good. There's nothing you could do a 2-turn move against a 2-turn move. You're going to sneak in moves anyway. You do soft lose this. Okay, you come in with Galarian Zapdos. I probably would have preferred coming with the Metagross. Ah, man, you would have been screwed anyway. Okay, so maybe a fairer assumption. You don't need... Okay, never mind. I was going to say, you don't need to shield this first move. Just throw one. Oh, okay, you stored up all that energy. I would have loved to have seen you throw the energy and get shields back, because this isn't a good matchup for Metagross. Look at that. That Surf is chunking. You do throw on correct timing there. They are shielding, which is, you know, not a good sign for the bird, because you're about to debuff yourself in order to take this thing out. Unless you get, yeah. Oof, just go straight for the Brave Birds. You're going to get... I don't know if you outpace, though, because you only have one shield left, and those, yeah, those Psycho Cuts are going to chunk. I really would have loved to have seen you take those shields. Ah, man, just not enough gas in the tank. But otherwise, really, really nicely played. As you can see, he's back to, like, I believe 1900 something. Yeah, 1932s. He did hit Ace. With better timing and knowing your matchups a little bit better, I know you'll get to Veteran in no time. But thank you, Cayenne, for submitting these battles. These were a lot of fun to showcase. Again, if you want your battle submitted, links down below. And I'll catch you in that next video. Peace.